Hey everyone, and welcome to this technical analysis explainer. You know that feeling when you pull up a stock chart and it literally looks like a Jackson Pollock painting? Just dozens of indicators flashing conflicting signals all over the place? Well, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by that, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're exploring a source that strips all of that noise away. We are going to build a mechanical, highly disciplined day trading system using just two really powerful indicators. By the end of this explainer, you are going to have a systematic approach to reading market momentum and executing high probability trades without constantly second-guessing yourself. So here's our game plan. We'll cover the chart setup and indicators, momentum and the 5-minute rule, 3 specific setups, the 9 EMA retest, the resistance rejection, and the VWAP reclaim, and finally, strict risk management and targets. Let's get right into it.
All right, section 1, setup and indicators. First things first, we absolutely have to strip away all that chart clutter and build a super clean foundation.
Look, if we're going to build a strictly mechanical system, you need exactly these settings. Step 1, slap the 9-period exponential moving average, or 9 EMA, onto your chart. That line tracks short-term momentum incredibly closely. Step 2, add the VWAP, the volume-weighted average price. Think of VWAP as your intraday anchor. It combines price and trading volume to show you who is actually in control. Now, step 3 is the kicker. Go into your settings and completely turn off the upper and lower VWAP bands. We only want that one central line. Maybe make it a bright purple or something so it really pops. I know, it feels kind of weird deleting so many indicators, but trust me, a clean workspace leads to crystal clear decisions. Moving on to section 2, momentum and the 5-minute rule. Now that our chart is totally clean, we need a way to read momentum objectively. No gut feelings allowed. The momentum matrix from the source material is honestly brilliant in its simplicity. If the price is above both the VWAP and the 9 EMA, we are in a very bullish state, long positions only. Below both lines, very bearish, shorts only. But what if it's mixed? If price is above VWAP, but below the 9 EMA, that's our relatively bullish zone. Momentum is weak. If it's below VWAP, but above the 9 EMA, it's relatively bearish. And when the price is caught right in between those two lines, it's trapped in a total gray area. And as disciplined traders, you know what we do? We just wait.
But hold on, before we execute a single trade based on those quadrants, we absolutely have to define the 5-minute opening range. When the opening bell rings, you just wait for that first 5-minute candle to close. Mark the absolute high, mark the absolute low, boom. Those two lines are now your intraday momentum anchors. They tell us exactly how strong the buyers and sellers were right out of the gate.
So the whole point here is this. We only want to trade in trending markets where the price is decisively respecting our indicators. If the market is choppy, meaning price is just ping-ponging aimlessly back and forth across the 9 EMA and the VWAP, man, that is just going to destroy your capital. So we absolutely do not trade it. This strategy is literally designed to keep you out of the chop. All right, section 3, the 9 EMA retest. Let's look at our first real setup for trend continuation. This is where we catch a ride on a fast-moving train. Take this Qualcomm case study from the source. Rule number 1, always check your higher time frame first. The higher time frame dictates the power. The daily chart for Qualcomm shows a really strong uptrend. Intraday, the stock opens incredibly strong, pushing right up past the previous day highs. So, our intraday bias is perfectly aligned with the daily bullish trend. We are exclusively looking for longs.
Off the open, Qualcomm surges and sets a clear 5-minute range high. But we don't chase it, we wait. We're looking for the price to pull back and retest that 5-minute high, which should line up beautifully with our rising 9 EMA. If price tags that zone and the candle firmly closes back above the 9 EMA, showing us buyers have stepped up, boom, we have our mechanical entry trigger. We execute the long position right then and there, no guessing.
Next up, section 4, resistance rejection strategy. Let's see how to mechanically execute a short position when the trend flips on us. The source highlights this fascinating scenario with Nvidia. They just released earnings, leading to a choppy, neutral open. But within the first 20 minutes, early weakness kicks in and forces the price down. It plunges right through the 5-minute range low and below the previous day lows. Because of that structural breakdown, our bias mechanically shifts from neutral straight to bearish. We also get our ultimate bearish confirmation. the 9 EMA crosses down below the purple VWAP line. Momentum has officially shifted. But again, don't chase the drop. We wait for a pullback up to our key resistance level, which is now this dual ceiling of the previous day low and our 9 EMA. If the price pushes up into that exact level and cleanly rejects, forming a weak candle that just can't close above the line, we execute a short position. We let the market structure do the heavy lifting for us. Moving to Section 5, the VWAP Reclaim. This third setup is all about playing a psychological reversal where your patience is heavily rewarded. Look at this Intel example. The daily chart shows a really nice bullish pullback, so we're definitely leaning toward longs. However, intraday, the price opens super weak below both the VWAP and the 9 EMA. It is clearly in the very bearish quadrant. So what's the play? We sit on our hands. We patiently wait for the buyers to prove themselves by reclaiming those key levels. Now pay close attention to this. Let's say you see Intel push above VWAP. You enter long and it immediately drops and stops you out for a small loss. Do not panic. The source material outlines this incredible statistical edge called the 84% rule. It basically states that if the price immediately attempts to reclaim VWAP a second time, that second attempt has a massively higher statistical probability of working out. So let's see how this builds in real time. On that second attempt, Intel flips back above the VWAP and the 9 EMA. The candle closes strongly above both indicators. But we want one more layer of confirmation. We glance over at the broader market. We see that the major ETFs tracking the S&P and NASDAQ, the SPY and QQQ, are simultaneously bouncing beautifully off their own support levels. Because the broader market has our back, we boldly re-enter the trade. Trust the system, take the second entry, and ride that momentum. Finally, Section 6, Risk Management and Targets. Because, let's be real, a mechanical strategy is totally useless without equally mechanical risk management. Knowing when to get out is way more important than knowing when to get in. Every single setup we've talked about today requires a strict target parameter. You absolutely have to mathematically justify the trade by aiming for a minimum 1 to 2 risk-to-reward ratio, meaning if you are risking $50 if the trade goes against you, your calculated target must offer at least $100 in profit. If the chart structure doesn't offer that ratio, you simply don't take the trade, walk away.
When you do enter a trade, your stop loss is automatically tucked under a logical structure. For a VWAP reclaim, tightly place it just below the low of your entry candle. Super low risk. For a retest or rejection, place it just outside the 5-minute range or your key resistance level. And for your take profit targets, you are aiming for the high or low of the day, plus any major higher time frame levels you marked on the daily chart.
So this strategy uses the 9 EMA and the VWAP to completely strip the emotion right out of your trading. It keeps you out of the chop and only puts your capital at risk when momentum is clearly stacked in your favor. You now have the exact platform setup, the Momentum Quadrants, and 3 distinct mechanical entry rules. But this system only works if you actually let it. The only question left is, will you have the unshakable discipline to sit on your hands and strictly follow these rules tomorrow morning? Really think about that before you click the buy button. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.